Welcome back to the Hatters Walk. How are you all doing? Great to have your company once again for another 20-minute chat about Luton Town. Our theme for this week is, have we kissed the playoffs goodbye in that performance at Plymouth? We've got Lewis, Mark and Kevin back with us. Apologies if you were looking for us last week. I was struck down with man flu, but we are hopefully going to get through the next 20 minutes without spluttering, which is not the same we can say for Luton. Hey Mark, what's going on away from home?
I didn't think the longest day was until about July. It felt like the longest day Saturday was 16 hours getting to Plymouth and back. But no, the better team won. Better defensive, better attacking, better in midfield. Yeah, no complaints whatsoever about the results.
Okay, let's look at some socials. Look at some
Second
social
trip
media.
to Devon for nothing.
Charles Bronson says on social media, Nordas, Ali and Gamode must be laughing their head off. Wilshire's a chancer. He's worse than Wayne Rooney ever was. Awful selection, pathetic signings. I've seen enough. Today's the day we can kiss the playoffs goodbye. That's probably the most strongest tweet we're going to have to talk about. Kevin, are they right?
It looks like they're right. However, I think Mark just said it correctly now, and I think that's why a lot of people are upset. We had it with Rob Edwards, we had it with Bloomfield, is after match, the whole time we were the better team, we should have won, things are coming right, we're working hard off the field. When everyone can see with their own eyes, it's not getting better. We do not have the firepower up front. We should have sorted it out by now. I'd prefer, and I think a lot of us on this call here would prefer honesty, like Nathan Jones, or like Mark just said. Nathan Jones over the week said he came and he felt embarrassed. Charlton losing 4-0. He was embarrassed about his team. We want something like that. We want to show the passion, not that we were the better team, we should get the score. It's not looking great. And we're in League One. We've won 11, we've lost 10, and we've got a winning rate of 40%. That's simply just not good enough with our squad.
Lewis, many are pointing out that, what are we now, 26th of January? Plymouth signed a big striker from Port Vale that's now essentially kept them up from the goals that he scored. Why are we 25th of January and nothing's happened on that score for Luton?
I just feel like you can't always rely on a January transfer window to solve your season. I think when you're in a January transfer window, you're relying on other clubs, and typical January transfer window fashion, it's nothing new. Everyone does their business late. Some clubs can get it done early, depending on which targets you're going for. From the sounds of things, our targets are players that are at other clubs, and we're waiting for those clubs to do business in order for us to get the player which we want to bring to the football club. A bit like Palmer. Hull brought in players in, and then we were able to bring him to the football club on loan. But we should never be in this position in the first place if we made better decisions in the summer. I think we didn't identify the right ones. I think signing 2 players out of the, 14 which we signed that were injured was not a good thing to do. And we're not learning our lessons, unfortunately. We keep repeating the same mistakes.
Do you agree, Mark?
Yeah, I think if you, a bit like last January where we made about 7 signings, if you have to make so many, January should just be fine tuning the squad or allowing for any injuries that you didn't foresee. If you have to make lots of changes in January, I think that just proves it didn't go well in the summer or hasn't gone as well as you expected. So we hear they're active and we hear they're going after the targets, but I think anyone that's got anyone decent is not going to let one of their better players go without getting an offer for silly money, and they'll see our position and realise that we're in desperate need of players. So will we pay the money that will tempt clubs to release their best players? That's how I see it, and I agree with Lewis that it's not totally reliant on January. It should be the summer.
A couple of fans have had their say on this this point, Kevin. Evie says the lack of goal threat is embarrassing and has been for a long time. There's no point having strikers who can't shoot. Crying out for a big man like Toledge doesn't help that we're a team of midgets. So as soon as Anderson doesn't head a corner away, we absolutely concede as well. Yeah, what's your take on where we're at? Are we right?
Look, we've been saying it for weeks and weeks and weeks. I think Lewis said pretty much the same thing after the match with one of his tweets, saying it doesn't help if we've got all these great people playing on the flank, getting the crosses in. We had over 67% possession on Saturday, but we don't have that tall striker. We don't have that guy that's actually got a presence over there. We're getting the crosses into Wells and we're getting the crosses into Yates. We don't have a presence. It just doesn't work. Obviously, waiting for Eli to come back, he'll take another couple of weeks, but we do need that presence up front. Right now, our strength used to be getting those crosses in, having that dominance with Carlton Morris or Eli, but now nothing. So that tweet is 100% correct, and I think Lewis was also correct after the match. And I think that's the frustration for all these fans.
Pompey fans were happy with Ali, by the way. They want to pass on their thanks for them. Is that a mistake, Mark? Or?
I mean, we don't know what goes on behind doors in the training. We don't know the reason that Jack won't play him, but I think Saturday was about the selection, the team selection that I think Jack got wrong. We've been doing so well with Kodjo playing like as a 10 in a central, and then to accommodate Palmer, they've moved him out wide. And we all know that Plymouth are quite a physical side, but Lawrence is still learning his trade. He's just come out of Man City's academy, and I don't really think put Plymouth away on a wet and windy day was his game. I just think and then the substitutions I thought were too late. I think Morris needs to start, so I'm hoping to see some changes tomorrow night.
I've seen the word protest around Lewis somewhere. A couple of fans seem to be essentially saying, look, if we get nothing by 7 p.m. on Monday, enough is enough now. The board deserve to see our wrath. Do you concur with that kind of view?
Yeah, go and protest. There'll be about 10 of you standing outside an office. Like, honestly, like, that's just, yeah, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I think, look, we're going through a lot of rubbish right now, and unfortunately, at one point, we need the rubbish to stop. And it might just be a top half finish in League One that hopefully will stop it, and then you can go from there and try and improve. I think what doesn't help is we've had 3 managers in 2 years. The last 4 transfer windows, we've had someone different in recruitment having an input, whether that's a manager or a new recruitment staff member, which doesn't help with consistency. It's just we're not being consistent at all in all departments when it comes to making proper football decisions at the very top. It now needs to start. We need to get to a point where we make consistent football decisions. But what people want is they want a instant reaction. They want instant success. And they want the CEO, Gary Sweet, out, which is fine. You can have that opinion. But my issue is if you get rid of him, you've got someone brand new with their own ideas, with their own philosophy. What happens if they don't hit the ground running? We're going to want him out. And then we're going to go through this little cycle where we find the right person until it starts clicking again, like we did in non-league football when we got the Messiah in John Steele coming to the football club. Right now, we kind of need to just try and get over this wave of rubbish. I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't know. But I do think Jack can do himself better by making proper decisions, because I still blame him and the coaching staff on some of the games this year.
That said, Kevin, if you beat Huddersfield tomorrow night, obviously we're recording this 24 hours before that, you go level on points with them, I think, if my calculations are mistaken. And then, of course, you got Blackpool at home on Saturday. They are in good form. I think they won at the weekend, but before that they were in really, really bad form. So, this idea of the playoffs being over, it's nonsense, isn't it?
It is nonsense to a degree. I think tomorrow's all or nothing. Tomorrow's a 6-pointer. We are 7 points behind number 5, so tomorrow is going to be extremely important. If we lose those 3 points, then possibly we are going to lose touch with them. So tomorrow's the massive game. Jack will need to do it. Like Lewis says, we have to stop the rot. The rot must stop tomorrow. A positive away performance could start a bit of a run again. We're not out of the running. Anything can happen, but it must start tomorrow. All or nothing.
Okay. Mark, in terms of personnel, who should get the nod tomorrow that played against Plymouth, which fans weren't happy with?
I'm a big fan of Shaden Morris. I think Lawrence is still learning his trade, but he needs to come out the side. I think he's a bit too lightweight, which you can understand. He's just come from Man City's academy and now he's playing men's football. So I want to see Shaden Morris in there. I'd like to see a bit more physicality in midfield. I know Jack's been quite vocal about Lamine Fane in terms of why he's left him out, but I just think we need to be winning the midfield battle. And so I would get Lamine Fane in, and I basically all the rest of the season, all I want to do is see Kodua like playing a 10. I don't want to see him out wide. He's in double figures. He's the one that's scoring the goals along with Clark. So I just wanted to see a change in formation and a few changes, basically.
Okay. One final one, maybe to all of you. I wonder how much you agree with this one. Jamie LTFC on Twitter says there's actually nothing likable at all about this team. I'm not sure what the plan is either. Lots of crosses and long balls to a 5'7" striker and the most lightweight midfield I've ever seen. That bit about them not being likable. Is that a bit harsh?
I think it is because, the home form, we've been really good lately. We're scoring goals at home. The pressing, the movement is a lot better at home. It's just we haven't won for nearly 3 months away from home. We haven't won once conceding away from home. The problem is away from home. If they would say if you win your home games and pick up points away from home, you're competitive. But I think the home form's been quite good recently. Haven't lost in, I forget how many games at home, but yeah, the problem's away. I wouldn't say it's not likable. There's things to like about it, but not enough that we're just not getting momentum. Every time we have a good run at home, then we have an away game, and that seems to end the momentum.
Do you like this team, Lewis?
The likable comment is just it's from the 2 years of relegation. If we never suffered the back-to-back relegations, people won't be saying the team's not likable. And like the new players are getting blamed for what's happened the last 2 years, but it's not their fault. They're trying to fix they're trying to change it all around. But because of added pressure from the fans, which there's going to be, with high expectation, which there's going to be, they're finding that side of the mental probably side of things a lot challenging. But then at the same time, I also think from certain players, especially the ones that we've signed from the Championship, and we've signed 4 or 5 of them, not one of them, I would say, has actually stood up and proven that they deserve to be a top level player at this level. So in terms of likable, I get it to a certain extent, but I think the new players are getting the wrath of previous stuff that's happened rather than, they should be judged on what's happened this year, where some of the players haven't actually done well this year.
Okay.
If I'll just add there with Mark, if you don't mind. And I think Lewis and Mark said it correct. People love winners and people love underdogs. At this point, we're not the underdog. We're supposed to be the winning team. So that goes away, and we're not winning either. So it's very difficult to like someone that's neither there or there. We also don't seem to have the the big personalities that we've had over the last couple of years. The Mapans is left and that kind of stuff. Possibly the only one with the Luton DNA is still Clark, and people get behind him. But I don't think there's a lot of people or a lot of players that the people are getting behind because there is no consistency, like we've spoken earlier. However, winning will change that. The more we win, the more consistent we become, the more likable the personalities become. Think about this. When did you think that Lewis would stop going to away games? He used to go away, whether you win, whether you lose, because they were big personalities and got behind them and they showed desire. I think people love players that also show the desire and give everything for the club.
The truth is, I just don't want to drive to the away games. That's what it is. If someone gives me the lift, I'll probably go. If someone messages me tomorrow going, Lewis, you fancy doing Huddersfield away? I'll probably say yes, but I don't want to drive.
Okay. Right. Okay. Well, if you're from Stockport away, then you can always sleep on my couch here. There's an offer for you.
Well, we won that one, didn't we? So.
Oh, okay. Cool. You've done that one, right? Sorry. Bolton. There you go. Right. We're on to letter M of our A to Z then. Who have we got for this one, fellas, please? We're halfway through this, by the way. Don't forget they've got some tricky letters coming up in the next couple of weeks. O's and Q's, so stay with them. Let us know in the chat when we get to those particular ones. Letter M. There's quite a few here, I think, Mark, isn't there?
The one is Mpanzo, Pele. Legend. No more needs to be said about him. And from my era, David Moss. We've got loads of wingers now, but David Moss was a great winger back in the early 80s.
Okay. Lewis, any M's from you?
Well, I didn't know if we would have saved Pelly for R. That's why I just thought,
Yeah.
I was kind of taking him for R, but I've got three
Okay.
M's. And I got three M's for different reasons. So Steve McNulty, because the bloke, if you looked at him, should never be a professional footballer, but he was a professional footballer. And I love he's such a unique character in football, helped us win promotion back to the Football League. Cameron McGeehan, goal scoring midfielder. I just love the way he knew how to find, the back of the net. Always used to, like a Frank Lampard type of player. We could do with someone like him in the team right now. And then the other M is Anna McCormack, another one which I think we could do with in the starting 11 right now. A no-nonsense defensive midfielder, leader, character, put his body on the line, helped us win back-to-back promotions. So, yeah, those are my three M's.
Brilliant. Kevin?
Well, if Mapanza is starting with an M, I don't think anyone can beat him. Some other people that we can just think about is maybe Carlton Morris, who was there at the total rise. Yes, he's gone to Derby now, but he did a sterling job. People shouldn't forget about Carlton Morris. And then Tingy Mengi, obviously. Mengi. However, like I say, those are just additional ones. I also had McNulty, but Mapanza will definitely get it for me if it's with an M.
Yeah, I think we'll count it as an M, shall we? Because I think we can probably put some other R's in when we get to that one point. So, yeah. Great shout all round. On to N next week. Also, next week we're talking about managers. Who's the best ever manager for Luton that you have seen in terms of the style of football in your lifetime? Not the most successful, not the one that's won the most championships, but who's the best manager, the style of football. And we want the worst as well, so let us know in the comments. We'll read some of these out next week. Thank you very much, you three. Enjoy your trip to Huddersfield. Nice, cold, windy Yorkshire night for you. To warm your cockles.
Thanks,
and then the Battle of the Tangerines on Saturday's Blackpool visit. We'll catch you both all next week to see how we've got on. Hopefully 6 points and into the playoffs we go. Come on, Jack, make it happen.
Come on.
See you next week.